Well, it is 7:30, so we're going to go ahead and get started. I understand people are still coming in, but I want to make sure to respect everyone's time, so we will go ahead and begin. So as I get started, I just want to do a quick sound check. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
And can everybody see the PowerPoint okay?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, we're in good shape then. Perfect. So welcome everyone to the Module 5 live session. In tonight's live session, we will be covering introductions. We'll be checking in. We'll go over the journal assignment expectations, some important dates, reflection and critical thinking questions from Chapter 8. We will review Module 5 by discussing 6 principles for engaging families in an effective way. And then lastly, you will have questions. You'll have time for some questions. So, as we get started, it's always nice to hear a little hello from everyone that is present at this live session. So as you all know, my name is Mike and I live in Colorado. I have a master's degree in early childhood education, and one of my favorite movies as a child is Home Alone. I just kind of want to just introduce yourself and where you're from, the type of program you're in, and what your favorite movie was as a child.
Hi everyone, my name is Brittany. I'm from Chicago, and my favorite movie as a child is James and the Giant Peach. Oh, I'm sorry, I meant to state that I'm in healthcare management. But yeah, James and the Giant Peach is one of my favorites, and Home Alone is also good.
Thanks, Brittany, for sharing. Welcome to class.
Hey everybody, how are you? I'm Nikki. I'm from Chicago, Illinois, and I work as a child care assistant, teacher, and preschool. And my favorite movie was Little Rascals.
That's a good one. Welcome, Nikki.
Hey, how are you guys?
Hi, my name is Delphine Wilkins. I'm also from Chicago, Illinois. I work with the 2-year-olds in the early childhood daycare center. And my favorite movie as a child was Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Another classic. Welcome, Delphine.
Thank you.
So it looks like it's just us 3 right now. So I'm going to go ahead and keep going. Welcome, guys. And I just kind of want to check in with you guys. So how is class going so far for you guys?
This week, I guess was so far so good, but it's the last week, and I feel like there's just a lot going on. I still have like 2 journals to do, so I guess I'm a little behind, but I guess considering it's the last week, well, aside from next Tuesday's post, it's just a lot more work. But otherwise, so far so good. So.
Yeah, you're right, Brittany. The first week and the last week of the course is really not much work, but the weeks from 2, 3, 4, and 5, there's a lot.
It's going good. I'm a little overwhelmed with the journals because I'm kind of behind on them. So, but it's going okay.
This last week for me, is overwhelming. It's a lot to do, but I'm hanging in there.
Well, it's just, you guys only have less than a week left, so hang in there and finish strong. What are you guys looking forward to your Exploration 2 class?
I honestly don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest.
I agree. I'm not sure. I mean, I guess I'm excited to learn more about something I don't know already. So that's exciting. But otherwise, I really don't know. I guess we'll just have to find out.
Yes, I'm also curious about Exploration 2 because even with the developmental appropriate practice in the appropriate practice, I'm curious to know what's in Exploration 2.
So do you guys know your guys' grade up to this point?
Yes, I do.
Yes, I look every single day.
Well, good. Just keep working hard, and if you have any questions, just, feel free to shoot me off an email, or, you could ask them here, and hopefully I could get you the answer. Might not be the answer you want, but I could maybe get you the answer. So, moving on, just really want to go over the journal expectations for you guys. I talked a little bit about it last week, but I'm going to go a little bit more in depth so you guys know what to expect. So your reflection assignment will be graded based on the quality of the information you include from all 4 topics. This is worth 50% of the assignment grade. So make sure to review your entries from all of the 4 weeks, revise, do further research, add any kind of information that you think that's necessary. And as a reminder, your journal should be 1 document with each entry starting on a new page. Each entry should include the module it was assigned in and the title. Each of your entries should be a minimum of 1 page typed and double space. It can be formatted in a bullet list or other creative format of your choice. The assignment should include a cover page in the APA format. And last but not least, the journal assignment is worth 12% of your overall grade in the course. So I really do encourage you to do well on it, especially if you're struggling right now, or if you're kind of in between of a C or a D, or a B and an A, or a C and a B. Making sure that you put your best effort to it. Does anybody have any questions on the journal assignment?
Yes, for the title, did you want it to be the title of the topic, or should we just make up our own title?
So in each module, there's a point of, I guess, reference, if you will, that has what you need to write upon. So you could just put like journal entry 2, research news, or whatever it is that you're talking about.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah,
Maybe
so
not.
I didn't know if there was like a specific title, or we can just, I get what you're saying, though.
Yeah, there's a specific titles is for 2, 3, 4, and 5. You'll have to look into the journals where it says journal. And then I think it's also on the syllabus too as well, an assignment. So take a look at that, and then just title it whatever the topic is.
Okay.
Does anybody else have any questions?
No.
All right. So I'm going to go over a few important dates coming up. So this week's assignments are, of course, your discussion posts that many of you already initially responded to. Your written assignment, exploration assignment, this live session quiz. Obviously, if you're here and you participate, you don't have to do that. And then the big journal assignment that is due. All of these assignments, aside from the discussion, are due on Sunday, November 5th by 11:59 Central Standard Time. Just a reminder that 10% of the assignment grade is deducted for each day the assignment is late, but, you know, late is better than not turning it in at all. So, you know, make sure that you turn them in. Per college policy, assignments are not accepted more than 7 days late. So, you know, try to get them in as soon as you can. The course ends next Tuesday, November 7th. In Module 6, there's only one assignment. It's the exploration assignment, which is due Tuesday, November 7th by 11:59 p.m. No assignments will be accepted after 11:59 p.m. on Tuesday, November 7th. Does anybody have any questions about that?
No.
All right. Well, I guess moving right along, if nobody has any questions. So, reflection and critical thinking skills from Chapter 8. First of all, did you guys have the time to look at this prior to class?
No, I haven't, Michael.
No, I haven't either.
I did a little bit. I read both of the Joseph and Christmas story, and then I went through to answer question number 3 too, but I'm not sure if it's the right answer, but I went through it.
Okay, well, that's why we're all here. I mean, just to, you know, learn as we go. Sometimes that's the best way. So, Chapter 8 talks about important qualities needing to be good collaborators and communicators. I think, Brittany, you said that you didn't know if you did this right or not. Just share a little bit about what you learned, I guess, from what you read, I guess.
Yeah, sure. I guess it's more so around question number 4, but basically like I guess like communication as far as being an educator to the parents. I don't want to skip to number 4, but just going based off number 4. In part of the story, they were saying how Joseph didn't want to come to the school or participate with his children's like activities at the school because of his past history. So another way to involve the parents with I guess the community is to like invite them individually or have the teacher come to them and talk to them and be more welcoming and inviting. So I guess just as educators and teachers, we need to, I guess, involve ourselves more with the parents in that relationship. So I think that's where I was trying to go for number 3. So I'm not sure if that's right or not, but
No, you're doing fine. Thanks for sharing.
yeah, sure.
Yeah, so question number 4, and we could get into this a little bit more, a little bit later on in the session. But basically, it says, what do teachers or administrators could have done differently? Just so everybody, so Nikki and Delphine, so they know what the background is, I might read the story, and then we could just discuss a little bit about what you as an educator or administrator or whatever role that you are in, what you would have done differently, or maybe you wouldn't have done anything differently. I don't know. But going back to question number 3 about important qualities needed to be a good collaborator and communicator. So basically, Lawrence Johnson and Marlene, I'm going to say this last name wrong, Fugate, I think, give some examples of what good collaborators are. So basically, they talk about accepting challenges of complex goals and joint endeavors, appreciate the contributions of the people they work with, actually enjoy the social process involved in solving problems and negotiating disagreements, recognizing and appreciating the personal growth they require from working with others, and continually reflect on their professional practice and on their experience in collaboration. So, with having said that, for me, I work with a team of other supervisors, and for me, I accept any challenge and complex goals, and I appreciate working with people, and I do enjoy the social process, not all the time, but most of the time. But one of the things that I really, really struggle with is recognizing and appreciating other people's contributions, I guess. So I kind of lack that, and for that, sometimes it gets a little bit, I don't know what the word is that I'm looking for, but teachers think that I'm unappreciated, or other staff think I'm unappreciated of their efforts. So that's kind of where I fall short. As far as being a communicator, I think as a teacher, the best thing you could do is have that open relationship with your parents and the children that you take care of. Make eye contact. You could smile. One of the biggest things is knowing your parents' names when they walk into the room. Sometimes if you have 20 kids in your classroom, it's kind of hard to know every parent's name, especially if sometimes mom drops off or dad drops off. But, making sure that your impressions are positive. Being pleasant and responding clearly is also another thing to do. So that's just a little bit about the important qualities of being a good collaborator. So with that being said, and a little bit of background information with that, which ones is the easiest for you to demonstrate?
I think for me, it's knowing the parents' names, because that's what we really focus on, and the place where I work at. I've noticed that a lot of times when I say a parent's name and the child is around and me and the parent is communicating and and talking about, ways to, for me to help them with their child. The child seems to be intrigued by it. They look at it, especially if we're laughing and talking with the parents and we're sitting down and I'm showing the parent pictures and everything of the child. It just appears that it's a good relationship with the collaboration part for me. As far as the communication part, it's okay because there'd be so many people where I work dropping off kids. So it's kind of hard to really tell the parent or the family member what the child needs or what's really going on. And that's what I'm finding in the center that I work at, that it's just a lot of different people dropping off kids.
Sure. So Delphine, it seems like that it's very important for your center, or maybe just for you, to get to know the parents' names, and I think it sends a positive message to the children, and I think they feel emotionally and physically safe because they know who you are.
Yes.
A great communication with the parents in my kids' class. Like a lot of them, like talk, come in. I had a parent today. She says I don't share with him every day. He just moved over from the 2-year room to the 3-year room. She had a lot of questions because she watched on the camera all day. So she was like, just want to know, like, what he's doing. Is he reciting this, saying his ABCs, or is he just bouncing around? I said, honestly, he bounces around and he sings his ABCs at the same time. She can't hear the audio. She just see him kind of bouncing around the room when we're sitting at circle time. So I do have good communication with, like, majority of all the parents. And I make sure I give them some, like, one-on-one time attention just to talk about their child when they come in, or give them positive feedback, or send extra hearts in the love note, or, their daily sheet, or send them a positive video. So I do keep a great communication open with my parents.
And that's a really good, they always have that, especially if a child has a hard day at school. What do we do as educators? Do we just say, well, little Johnny was very disruptive all day, and he disrupted his friends, and he bit this one, and he bit that one, and whatever the situation is, I think we as educators, we need to start out with something positive, even if there is really nothing positive to say about the child, which I could, there's always something, and then, an area of improvement, and then another positive, kind of like that sandwich effect. I know Chapter 8 talks a little bit about that, so, yeah.
I started negative. Like, I'm not going to lie. I have. And then I turned around with a positive, like, oh, the afternoon was much better. After nap, he was a totally different kid. The morning we raced and we started all over. And, so I've had to do that. But I didn't the morning because wasn't nothing good to say from the time she dropped them off. But I will turn it around like, oh, the day ended positive, great. We're going to start tomorrow off the same way we did this afternoon. Because sometimes, our parents need attention. I'm not going to lie, at our center. The parents need some attention too. If not, they feel left out. I don't know if it's like that at the center, you guys might work at, but ours need a little attention. They need some mommy teacher attention.
Well, thank you for sharing, Nikki. That is good insight. After nap, it seems like the rested child does a lot better, especially after you don't know what kind of night that they had, or the culture of their home. Does anybody else have anything else to say about important qualities to be a good collaborator and communicator? Have you ever had a difficult conversation with a parent?
I was gonna bring that up. I was gonna say I agree with Nikki on how you have to kind of, you don't want to like, I guess, not talk bad about their child, but you want to just be honest with them about how they went. And I have a lot of parents that know how their children are. So for me to not tell them what happened when they kind of already know what's going on, says if I'm not being honest with them. So I don't know, I just have like a soft tone with them, and I just, tell them what happened for the day. And, if I see like them regressing somehow, like, I'll mention it, but then I'll say how, like, we worked on it and it's getting better, or I just try to keep them positive as well, because I'm sure they know, that, from their own experiences at home, that their child may have some behavioral problems or whatever the case. So as long as we both have an honest relationship, and we're both not coming down on the child too hard, and we're both working towards making the situation better, then I think that we'll have a good relationship. But it is difficult because some parents get offended, some parents don't want to know those things, or they're in denial. So you gotta kind of work with them, and it's all about your attitude and tone as well. So that's about it.
Well, yeah, it's, most of you guys know your parents better than anyone else. I mean, you know how to talk with them and what kind of feedback they want or how they receive feedback. And, trying to find that balance is sometimes hard, especially if the child is really disruptive all the time. Does anyone else have anything to add to these questions for question 3? All right, so I'm going to move on to question number 4. So there were kind of 2 different scenarios. And since I know Delphine and Nikki didn't get a chance to read before class, I was going to go ahead and read both of them to you guys and just, want your feedback of what you could have done if you were in that situation to make it more positive.
Okay.
All right, so the first one is being a teen mother and single. So the story goes, as I reflect back and move forward, there is no doubt that I was a troubled teen. Upon graduation from high school, I found out I was pregnant. What were my options? What would my life hold for my child and me? As a young Indigenous working class woman, would I become another casualty of societal inequities that would position my child to follow a path of poverty and disempowerment? Yes, I had a loving family, and yes, I had a personal drive, but I didn't have wealth, racial, or gender privilege. Because of my perseverance in family love, I entered an urban community college. There, I met a faculty member who helped me empower myself. Without his belief in me, I may not have been able to believe in myself. My daughter was born at the end of my first year. I was worried about how I could continue school and care for my newborn. My mentor encouraged me to bring her to school when my family was unable to help. He would watch her in his office while I attended class. I had an academic home. Now, not all my experiences were positive because I was a teenage mom. I was often talked down to, expected to do poorly academically, and it was assumed that I provided inadequate care for my child. For example, I was strongly encouraged by the college to attend parenting classes. Although I learned valuable information about the importance of play and had wonderful opportunities to learn songs and games with my child, I also was positioned as the teenage mother, the at-risk parent. These educators failed to understand that my lived experiences gave me an incredible life tool. I was raised by a hardworking single mother in a loving family. My parental funds of knowledge came from a loving community that cherished each child as a sacred gift. We might not have always been lavished with extravagant gifts, but we were always immersed in love. In reflecting back, I realize how much I believe in the power of fierce hopefulness through mentorship and love. For me, the stereotype portrayals of teen moms and societal inequities were what could have been my roadblocks. I urge all teachers and caregivers to examine their biases about teen moms and the social issue that impacts the lives of young mothers. Every mom, as well as every child, deserves empowering spaces where they can succeed. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
What
I
the
was thinking,
Go ahead.
you can go ahead. Go ahead.
It's what the educator did when she first started school, so she didn't have to stop going. Like, bring the child to school. I'll watch your child while you go to class. That was awesome. Or like, he could have maybe too found the daycare. Most schools have daycare grounds, even the community colleges too. But as an educator, I think that was awesome that he offered to keep her child so she wouldn't drop out and kept giving her positive feedback to keep her, going to school.
I totally agree with that.
I would have did that, honestly. That's something I would have did. Like, oh, okay, we'll figure this out. Or I would have been looking up some programs or free programs for babysitting or, just to see her succeed because she wanted to. And she didn't want to be probably a statistic or, not move forward, in life or in her education. But she had, someone that was looking out for her to help her.
Mhm.
That's it.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you, Nikki. Yeah, I would have probably did the same thing, but I thought it was really, really nice too that her life experience. She was brought up, with a loving family and everything, and she could have gave up and gave the baby up when she, after delivery, but she didn't. She had a positive role model in her life, which helped a lot.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, from this field study, you should never judge a parent, because you don't really understand their life or their upbringing or their culture. Being positive and support them and reaching out obviously went a long way for her. She became, I believe, a doctor. I don't know, can't remember what but she took her education pretty far. I also think that the mentor did an excellent job aiding and providing the support and resources that Kristen needed in the situation. Sometimes we do go through life with roadblocks and marathons. It's hitting the wall and thinking you want to give up and quit. And it's good that she had a positive support system that made her be strong, and she was determined to finish. Anybody else have any other questions on that scenario? Any other thoughts?
I don't know.
Sorry, Delphine, what did you say?
No, that wasn't me.
Oh, was it Nikki?
Yeah, that was me. I don't have much more to say. That was just awesome. We need more people in the world like that.
It would make the world a better place, wouldn't it?
It would. And that's how educators supposed to be.
Yep, big hearts. The second story, I'm not going to actually read since we talked about Kristen's story. So we will move on to the next, our next subject for the session. It's the 6 principles lecture or supplemental reading video. So these are in the NAEYC principles of effective teaching practices. There's 6 principles that the NAEYC follows with family engagement. And I just kind of want to ask what you guys do in your guys' programs. I know in my program at Head Start, we follow pretty much all of these principles. It might not be exact, but we do follow a lot of them. So the first one is programs invite families to participate in decision making and goal setting for their child. With that being said, what does that mean and how do you guys implement that in your guys' program?
In that program, well, our admin, we all work together, but our admin team invites the families in, and we have open tours throughout the day. They don't have to make an appointment. They can literally just walk in the building, and we let them in. If they want a tour, the admin team gives them the tour around the center. Once they bring them into our classroom, we take over the tour. So a tour can walk in, like I said, at any given time, and some from our admin team will let us know, okay, we have a tour coming in. So they'll come in. I wasn't in, so once they come in, I show them around the classroom, how we organize everything, where all the personal belongings go. I show them the cribs. I show them like what we do. I show them our curriculum on our iPads. We have an app called Tadpole Pro, and it shows like everything they do literally throughout the day, like what bottles, diapers, what times. And I just go through and show them like our food, our menu. They get introduced to our chefs. It's just really cool. Like I feel like that really welcomes them in, and they're literally signing papers the same day most times. So it's pretty fun, easy done, straightforward, and usually they have the baby with them. So I get to meet the baby and the parents all at once and show them around. It's really just a matter of time of when they're gonna start, and it happens from there.
So Brittany, I have a question for you. You know, we talk about decision making for families to participate in. With working with infants, is there a specific time schedule that they sleep, or is it parents who dictate when the baby sleeps?
Well, with their age range, they have their own schedules pretty much depending on the age. So from like 3 months to like 6 months, they still have like their own pattern. But we do have like downtime. We don't really call it nap time because we're not forcing them to nap. It's just like sleeping time or time to just relax. So we do that at 10 in the morning, and then we do it again at 2 in the afternoon. So some of the babies do sleep on that team because they're just winding down until lunchtime or just winding down from the busy morning we have. Because our center opens at 6:30. So some babies are there at 7 and they don't take a nap or relax until 10. So we do have downtime, which is what we call it, at 10 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon, but they can sleep whenever they want. It's up to them, it's their pattern. So that's pretty much how it works.
Nice. You know, I asked that question because my wife is a nanny, and she 4 or 5 years ago she was nannying for a particular family who wanted her child not to nap. And
Really?
yeah, and it was kind of like, well, why would you want that?
Right.
Right.
So you know, she talked with the parent and, you know, told her reasons why the infant should nap. And I mean, this lady was a doctor too. She had a doctor degree, and I think she just wanted her child to be really played out, so by the time she gets home, she didn't have to really deal with it, which is kind of sad actually, but.
Yeah, that actually happens a lot. We have parents that try that, and they'll say, I understand if the baby is sleeping for hours, because we have babies that are, you know, they're newborn, so they come in and they sleep for like 4 hours straight. But, you know, they would want us to wake them up because we wake them up too, because we don't want them to get dehydrated. So, you know, we wake them up and we feed them, change them, and if they're for a little bit, if they're so tired, they're just going to go back to sleep. They're just little humans, you know. If they're tired, they're going to sleep. So,
Right.
you can't control that. Like,
That's
if
true.
you try to control it, then the baby isn't growing. I mean, I feel like it wouldn't be growing right or developing right because you're taking sleep away or adding sleep to the schedule, and the baby will make its own schedule until it becomes like maybe 9, 12 months, then maybe you can put the baby on a schedule then. But at that age, no, the baby has the right to choose when it's going to go to sleep.
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
We
Thank you
have
for
a lot of
sharing.
stay-at-home moms at our center, and the kids come in at 7 o'clock and they leave at 6:30 some days.
Why do you think that is, Nikki?
They stay-at-home moms. They don't want to be bothered with their kids.
Exactly.
I'm going to be honest. I've had a parent tell me that. They're overwhelmed. They have 3 kids. You got 1 in the belly and 2 that comes to daycare.
Mhm.
So they're overwhelmed. You got 3 little ones. They maybe a year and a half apart, maybe. So that's kind of overwhelming. Everyone's in diapers.
Mhm.
So it's easy to drop them off at school, pay the money, and go home.
Save the money.
Mhm.
So we have a lot of stay-at-home moms. And they'll tell you, I'm overwhelmed. I can't do this by myself. Either I need a nanny or they have to come to school. That's the relationship that I have with some of the parents.
Oh wow.
They say,
Go ahead.
that's all I was just saying. They'll tell me, like, I'm overwhelmed. I can't do this. I don't see how you do it every day. I'm like, oh, okay. So you send them here. I'm going to be honest.
Uh-huh.
I know it's a sad situation, but we have children in our center as well, and I guess that's where it comes in with collaboration, because parents some of them will say that they just can't, they're overwhelmed. We had a parent that had a nervous breakdown. She had twins, and we found out that the twins were not even staying with her. They were staying with the grandparents. So it was sort of like a touch and go situation with the kids. We know that we had pictures up of the mom, and, you know, the kids would go over and touch the picture and say, Mommy, and they just 2 years old. So a lot of times, a lot of them be there till 6 a.m. and they don't leave until the door closes at 6:30. So, you know, it's a sad situation, but we call those daycare kids. You know, the daycare is raising the kids.
I have a parent, she walk in every day and she's almost in tears. Every day. And you just have to, I'm like, what's wrong today? And she'll say, I couldn't get her to put her shoes on. That's why I just carried in with her socks, and I couldn't get her to do this. How do you get, I'm thinking to myself, how do I get her to do it? She's your child.
Right.
I know I'm with her most of the day, but she's with you on the weekends. So we have a lot of parents like that.
As educators, and possibly maybe your administrator, have you guys ever seeked strategies for her to, or give her information of how to, you know, maybe some mental health stuff?
No, I just gave her some advice on what to do with her. So she's working. It's getting better. It's getting better. I said, you can't just say, oh, go, you know, you got to tell her, put them on. If not, you're leaving. Like, on the playground, maybe, was it last week or the week before last? Mom was sitting out there 30 minutes about to cry. She was ready to go home. The little girl would not leave. She was like, no, screaming. I said, Mom, just get up, walk to the door. We know you're not leaving her, and just walk and leave. So her mom was like, I'm going to try that. She got up, she walked to the door, opened it, and told her bye and closed the door. And she walked down the hall and hid to the side. She's screaming at the door. I come back. She stopped doing that to her. So now when she sees Mom, she gets her stuff and comes off the playground to leave. So we eliminated that problem. So, like, she takes the advice that everyone gives her, and she tries to go home and try it. But the little girl is a little bit overwhelming.
Well, you know, you're doing the best what you can do with by providing that information to her.
And she accepts it. So, you know, it's like, I'm not going up to her. She asks what can she do to try, at home to keep her kind of stable, and, how do we get her to eat and use a fork and just all kind of questions. So she's really having a time with her at home. And she has a 2-parent household and everything. Say she's overwhelmed. That's why she's the only child. Because she don't think she can handle another one like her. She's honest with us, and we try to help her every single day. We've even walked the little girl and put her in the car and strapped her in to help her.
Wow.
Not overwhelmed. That's why I say I do have a great relationship with a lot of our parents.
That is great. That is very good that you're that involved with them. That's great. I mean, I wish that daycare centers could have like a team of special support services that could come in and help the child and get the child and the parents what they need, and services that will help them at home too. I just wish, because I'm a supervisor for Head Start, and we have a team of special support services where the school district comes in, and then they evaluate the child and they talk with the parents and they get the resources that they need, so they could become school ready once they get into kindergarten. So, I just wish daycares would go to that extent, but I know that a lot of them don't. because a lot of it has to do with funding. Does anybody have anything else to add for that first principle?
Oh,
All right, so teachers and programs engage in families in two-way communication. This is pretty obvious, but what are some of the ways that you guys engage in two-way communication with your parents? I know a lot of you guys already kind of answered that question. Do you guys do emails daily? Do you guys, I know the daily sheet is pretty obvious, especially with the infants. Is there anything else you could think of?
we do daily sheets that's sent out on the iPad every day. And I touch back on just that first principle. We do, I forgot, our parents do fill out an assessment sheet, like of things, the goals they have set for their child, as far as eating and how much they should eat, even with the preschool kids. I forgot to say that too. Sorry.
No worries. Thanks for sharing.
But yeah, we have daily sheets on the iPad sent out of what the kids do, class projects for today, how much they ate for lunch, and did they take a nap.
Mm-hmm.
It's sent out every day, and it has to be sent by a certain time.
Oh, wow.
The parents look forward to it. And the picture has to be sent daily of the child. Also attached to the back.
Yeah, that's the same for us. We have to. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Michael.
Oh, I was just wondering, Nikki, where do you work?
I work.
That's pretty intense.
Who you're telling? And I don't. Gosh. And seriously, I work at this high-class franchise daycare, and it's like if you don't send a picture, they'll call. I had a parent. This just happened. Child moved over. Parent called 100 times a day. She emails 100 times a day. Okay, that's fine. All right. Then she didn't get a daily sheet emailed to her because they hadn't switched his name over to our list. But when Mom came in, I gave a full report for the whole day. She watched the camera the whole day. That was at the end of the day. She came in the next morning, talked to the morning teachers that be there with me in the mornings. Full report, same thing. She goes to the director and says she needs his note from yesterday, and also she needs a picture of him.
Oh, wow.
And I went to the director because I have kind of a. I said, what is she gonna do? Print it out and put it in his baby book? I don't know. And the director just laughed. She said, I was wondering because she was like, oh, he had an awesome day, and then she comes in and like, I want the daily report. I'm like, I can't with some parents some days, but it's like you got 2 full reports. You watched on camera the whole day, and she wanted a picture. You see the kid every That's my days at work. Like, we're really high tech there. They're serious about those sheets and pictures of their child.
They want to get their money's worth, I'm sure.
I'm starting to think that's what it is too. I'm starting to think that too. Maybe that is what it is. Because they want their pictures. Yes, you have to send a picture. You can't upload the note without the picture. It'll kick it back.
It seemed like it would be so much nicer if you was able to keep those pictures and make a portfolio for the kids, with their picture and statements under there to show their progress. It seemed like it would be so much nicer, and the parents can enjoy it and have a keepsake, versus doing it every day.
I send slideshows of the week.
That's nice too.
Yeah. I send slideshows of the week or whatever that we did with the projects, and like I try to get like little clip videos, especially for the parents who need the extra attention.
Mhm.
That's all I got.
Thank you for sharing. So I'm going to move on if nobody has any other questions or input. So the other one is programs and teachers engage families in ways that are reciprocal. So what does that mean, that are truly reciprocal? So basically, I could just share, so like, you know, inviting them into volunteer in your classroom, which I know probably not in Nikki's center that would go well. But you know, just having them volunteer and, you know, maybe taking something home for them to do a project at home with them together is kind of what that is, kind of principles kind of guiding in towards. Programs provide learning activities for home and in the community. So that's pretty direct. Programs use learning activities at home in the community to enhance each child's early learning and encourage support families' efforts to create a learning environment beyond the programs. So trying to have, you know, like I talked to you a little bit about bringing more stuff home so they could interact. Let's see here. Programs invite families to participate in program level decisions and wider advocacy efforts. So that's kind of like PTAs in the public school. I don't know if they're called PTAs anymore. For us, it's like policy councils, kind of like where the parents meet with administrators to make program level decisions to benefit their program. And the last one, programs implement comprehensive program level system. You know, programs use family engagement policies and practices to ensure that teachers, administrators, and other staff receive the supports they need to be fully engaged family. So, you know, providing those resources out to your families is a little bit about that. Does anybody have anything else to share on the principles?
No, I don't.
All right. So if there's questions and answer time, if you guys have any questions about this live session, or if anybody has any questions who is viewing this who is not here, please let me know. Like, I just want to reiterate that the end of the course is coming very soon, so make sure that you guys get your assignments in on time. And if you have any questions, please feel free to email me or give me a call or a text, or however you want to communicate with me. I'm pretty open either way, so I usually respond faster through email. I will be posting this live session later tonight or early tomorrow morning. But I really enjoyed my time with you guys, and I just want to say thank you for your participation, and I hope that you guys have great endeavors with whatever you guys decide to do.
Thank you.
I do have one.
Thank you.
Thank you. Brittany, you had a question?
Yes. Do you know when the next quarter starts? I'm not sure exactly.
Say that one more time, sorry.
Do you know when the next quarter starts?
The next term 2 starts.
Yeah,
Term 2 starts right away, I believe, on November 8th. And
I have to look at my schedule, but I don't even know.
yeah, look at your schedule or get with your advisor, so
Okay.
you could plan accordingly, so you're kind of up on so you know what to expect.
Exactly.
Any other questions?
And are you teaching any of the other childhood classes?
As of right now, I am not, but I may, in the future, I could be possibly teaching another one. It just depends on, the workload, and there's so many different teachers out there, so, I mean,
Yeah.
but yeah, I enjoyed you guys, so, feel free if you have any questions or anything that you need to ask me.
All I had.
All right. Well, have a good night, guys.
Thank you.
You too.
You too. Thanks. Good night, everyone.
Night.
Good night.